Hey folks, as anybody who has watched my recent speedruns will know, bonus objectives are an amazing source of experience in patch 9.1.5, and as I am currently in the process of making a leveling guide for that, I figured I would make this video as a sort of addendum to that, where I go over every single one of the 20 bonus objectives and show you how to complete it in the most efficient method possible. So, without further ado, let's jump into the Bastion bonus objectives. Alright, starting us off, we have Aspirant for a Day in Bastion, so I'm going to start my timer here, I'm going to land, and I'm just going to round up as many mobs as I can. Accidentally hit the same one twice there, but not a big deal. So I like this little spot right here on top of the hill. There's a decent amount of etherworms that you can grab. It's important that you only grab ones that are not flying directly above a cliff. So if I were to aggro that one there, it would leash and just fall down to the ground. Tried it before. Doesn't really work. I'm going to do this. It is worth noting that this can be a bit populated, so on Worm mode, this can be kind of tricky. I've actually almost gotten ganked a few times while attempting this. This little ridge especially. So be mindful of that. You might want to go to one of the other parts of this bonus objective if that is the case. It's a slightly cramped bonus objective, so that can be a bit of a problem. There are other methods to actually gain completion within this one, but I believe that these flowers and killing mobs is by far the best way to do it. I've managed to get this one done in roughly 45 seconds on a Guardian Druid, but that is also Guardian Druid with ridiculous AoE and really good flying capability, so I could just, interact with these flowers while flying, and that made it a lot easier. Alright, one more to go. Just gonna kill this Etherworm. Nice. Pretty nice chunk of experience, and that was fairly slow by my standards, so I'll stop it here. Now right next to it we have Scour the Temple, so I'm going to start my timer. Round up mobs. That one didn't aggro for some reason. Oh, I guess it did. It was just doing some RP shenanigans. Alright. All this. Get Ashen Hollow down, and start blowing stuff up. So that's already a pretty nice chunk right there. And I can interact with these objects. Free these stewards. Each one of that gives about 7%. I think it was actually 8% if my math is correct. So, pretty sizable chunk. Now, this bell is pretty good. I don't want to aggro that elite, but I can run over here, stun this guy, interact with the bell. Go over here, grab this spear. And I want to get the next bell down here if I can. Might actually be faster for me to not do that, but we'll see. So, if you're a druid, this is absolutely the fastest method. Yeah, okay. I can just do that. But now I need to escape, so until I get out of combat, I'm actually going to leave the timer running because this is, technically speaking, a time loss. Okay, we're gonna try to run. And we're good to go. Alright, so around the same amount of time, it is worth noting that Guardian Druid already was one of the fastest, if not the fastest specs for leveling in just the 10 to 50 bracket. And if you can't tell, this stuff heavily favors classes that can interact while flying, and, well, that is just Druid. So Druid basically is just completely dominant for any of these bonus objectives. Restarting the timer, and let's go. Those bells that I went to grab, I wouldn't have had to be in combat at all if I was a Druid. I would have just went over, interacted with it, and boom, I'm done. Oh, there's another guy here. Speaking of which, it is a Guardian Druid. Now, best way for this, by far, these memories. Each one gives 10%. It's actually crazy. Door of Shadows over. Oh, misclicked. We're good, though. Right, yeah, and we have just enough to complete this. Oh, the memory is patrolling away. That is problematic because I do not want to pull extra mobs because that would get me in combat. Can I sneak this? Nice. And stop the timer because I got on my flying mount. Perfect. All right, so that was sub 1 minute. As I said, some of these are very, very easy. Now I'm going to go over here, close splits, insert, and we can start interacting with stuff. Oh, that's a world quest, right. Okay, so that was bad. Lost a little bit of time there. Looks like somebody's already cleared out a lot of these mobs, so I'm actually going to fall behind a little bit as a result. But okay, there's some here. That's good. And you know, that happens. Goes to show that it's not always exactly according to plan. Sometimes you go to do your big pull and everything is dead because, well, lots of people like to use this route. And I expect that once my guide becomes a bit more popular, just like the original one did, then more people are going to start doing this on top of that, and it's going to be even harder to actually get these things done. Alright. Now, it is taking me a while to kill these. My damage is definitely a bit crap. I'm saving all my cooldowns for the next one. So, not going to pop Avenging Wrath here. Especially because we're close to being done. I have 2 Centurion Anima Cores. I'm going to pull these Researchers. I will pop this, actually, just to nuke these down. The Researchers are by far the most brutal mobs to fight, because they have a cast Steal Memories. I'm going to let this go off just so you see how fast my health starts to tick down. And that is as a tank. As a DPS, if you don't interrupt that, it will completely destroy you. So make sure you're getting that. Then I can rouse this cat, and it's good to go. Actually, I'm 1% off. So I'm just going to quickly kill this cat, and that should be enough. If I really wanted to, though, I could go find another cat to rouse, and if I was a druid, that might genuinely be the fastest method, because I could fly over, interact with it, and then immediately fly off. But if I do that on my paladin, I'm going to just get in combat, and I'll have to fight the mob anyway. So, around 2 minutes. Still, very good. Very efficient source of experience, and you'll notice that each one gives 10% towards the zone quest, which is a lot. 10% is nothing to scoff at. Now, last but not least, we have Maldraxxus Eviction Notice. So I'm going to clear my split, start again, and as always, I open with a big pull. I think that, especially as a tank, this is usually the best way to start each and every one of these bonus objectives. Just do a really big pull, and nuke down a bunch of mobs, because usually this will give you at least like 40 to 50% of what you need to finish it. So you see here I have 40%, 62%, so those big flesh guys give a lot. That gives a bit more. And now that I've fully cleared out this area, I can freely run around and interact with all these objects. So there's a banner over there. Let's see, there's another little box over there. So kill this guy real quick. Still have Grong's Primal Rage from Battle of Dazar lore. This is an older character. Haven't played it in quite a while. Okay, let's see how much these guys give. And that's enough to finish it. Alright, about 1 minute. So that's everything for Bastion. Now let's move on to Maldraxxus. Now, Maldraxxus is a bit trickier because, as you can see here, we have these bonus objectives spread out here, 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 and here. They make like a bit of an L shape, whereas in Bastion, it was a pretty straight shot all the way up to Hero's Rest, and then we just had to take one slight detour over to Temple of Courage. I think it's best to take a slight detour over here to deconstructing the problem, and then heading down this way in the L shape, instead of just going crisscross across the entire zone. You'll also notice that I have 50% of my Bolstering Bastion quest completed, and the only thing I did on this character was the bonus objective. So, in total, if you do every single bonus objective within a zone, you're already halfway to finishing this quest. At that point, you just need to do a dungeon, some wanted quests, some side quests. It's pretty simple to fill the rest of it out. Alright, so we have deconstructing the problem. Let me make sure I'm landing in an ideal spot. I would say this area is usually pretty good. Close splits. insert, and we're good to go. Gonna run around, round these up. Hopefully I get good bounces off of Vendor's shields. And taunt this. Actually, I want to make sure I don't go too far, because then they'll leash. We don't want that. I can do Ashen Hollow here. Oh, one of them leashed, but it's not that big of a deal. Grong's Primal Fury. This one's always pretty nice. Even while it's a level 50 trinket at this point. Still pretty good. Prisoner Cage Key. Alright. Let's see what I can do with this. So I have 2 Prisoner Cage Keys, meaning I can unlock this stuff. I guess I'll have to fight this guy first. I'm almost at the end. Accidentally. Did not mean to activate my Divine Steed. Okay, so I need one more cage and then a little bit extra, so yeah, that should do it. So if I go like this, Dwarf Shadows over, pop open this cage, and we're good to go. Alright. Honestly, not as bad as I thought it would be. Last time I kind of floundered a little bit and actually took a lot longer to do this on my Guardian Druid. So glad to know that it was just me being inefficient the first time. Alright, next up we have War of Attrition, so close splits, start. I'm going to hop in and do, as always, a big pull. So I grab this guy. Let's grab this guy. Wrong thing. I don't think I can actually do anything with that extra action button from here. I was surprised it wasn't going away. Now, this is another one of those where the easiest way to do it by far is to destroy objects. So there are ballistas later on that you can destroy, hence my confusion there where I tried to click on that one. But this is actually easy enough, can just destroy these supplies, and we're good to go. That one I could have done in sub 1 minute if I didn't get confused there. So, very, very easy. A lot of these mobs, as you can see, give tons of percentage. So, if you just pop all your cooldowns, nuke a group of them down, you'll be set. Now, this next one, I'm going to preface it by saying it's actually quite tricky. The way that I've been doing it in my speedruns has been a little bit more aggressive than I think most people should probably approach it, because this one takes place in House of the Chosen. And, well, there are a lot of mobs here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it the same way that I've always been doing it. But there's actually a chance that I might die, because I don't actually have all the same stuff prepared on this character as, well, those characters that I do speedruns with. So we'll see how this goes. I forgot to do splits, so just add like an additional 10 seconds onto that. Give or take. You don't want to kill Overseer Minerva here. It just so happens that she's really close to a lot of mobs. That's the only reason I actually pull her. So I'm going to grab this. And burn this. Now I could probably just kill this Pale Skull Hauler. And that should give me completion. Shadows to exit. Alright, okay, honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to let this run for a little bit longer. I'm also not even out of combat yet, so usually you want to make sure that you get out of combat, because if you have to run away because you got stuck in combat, that means, you know, it's additional time. Thought I was going to pull that for a second. I would say this is probably a good place to stop. So yeah, a little over a minute. I forgot to start the timer initially, so let it run for a bit longer than needed. But yeah, so that's a pretty good time, I would feel. Now, if you're struggling doing that big pull, obviously there are tons of other places in House of the Chosen that you can go and grab mobs in, but the nice thing about that is it's a concentrated area of tons of mobs in that one little spot, and it is very close to the entrance, so you can just pop in, grab all those mobs, grab some other stuff, and then immediately peace out. Whereas other stuff, you might need to go deeper into the House of the Chosen, and it's just going to increase your travel time. So I do like that spot myself. This one is interesting. So you're supposed to purify these plague-ridden survivors, but you don't actually need to. You can just kind of fight them and kill them, which, I don't know, seems kind of counterintuitive. Like, we're supposed to be helping them, but we still get credit for just murdering them. But hey, I mean, if Blizzard's gonna allow it, then we might as well. Ah, I fucked that up. That was embarrassing. Okay, we got a lot there. And we can do just some bonus things here. Cleansing formula. Hit the plague-ridden survivors with that. And probably not going to be able to get this off in time. This is where having an AoE stun actually really comes in handy. So if I were to plan ahead, I probably would have taken something like... what is it? Blinding Light for this instead of Fist of Justice. Fist of Justice is what I normally run in most content, but Blinding Light is really good for just interrupting mobs briefly so you can click on an object and then get the hell out of there. But as mentioned, this is obviously much easier on a druid. Alright, so a little over a minute, not too bad. Alright, now we have Glutharn's Decay. There are a few different ways to do this. I would say it depends on what world quests are up, so if you look for me, there is nothing up in this area, but sometimes if there's a world quest in this section, I'll do this part of the bonus objective. But I'm just going to start it, and we'll see how fast I can do this. Right, rounding up Morbid Disciples. I, for some reason, could not get that judgment off. Alright. Gonna do that. Ah, he leashed. Okay. Unlucky. Okay, 40%, about as much as I was expecting. Now I can run around, destroy all the objects, grab Construct Canker. This doesn't do anything. Alright, good to know. Construct Canker, not worth grabbing. When you've done a lot of speedruns on Druid, it honestly feels really bad to not have Flight Form for this kind of stuff. It's so nice to have. If you're considering speedrunning, may I recommend Guardian Druid. Very, very, very nice, very easy class to play. Well, easy class to speedrun with, right? Obviously, it has a high skill cap, so I don't want the Guardian Druids to come to my house and beat the shit out of me, but in terms of speed leveling, as somebody who has done a lot of it, not very hard, pretty straightforward, and really, really overpowered. Alright. So in that case, everything was really spread out. 2 mob pulls honestly did the trick. Wasn't super long. Pretty good. Now that's it for Maldraxxus. What I do find interesting is I actually only got 42% for Maldraxxus compared to Bastion. I'm not sure what that's about, because I definitely did not do anything else in Bastion. I only did the bonus objectives. Very strange. Huh. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I missed. Not really sure. Either way, let's move on to Ardenweald. Alright, so you're going to enter Ardenweald around this location if you're using the wormhole generator, and I recommend just flying to this far point, the Fallen Tree, and starting here. You could do Dream Shrine Basin first, but you're going to have to go to the Fallen Tree and then cycle back anyway, so I recommend just taking a straight path straight over to Tir na Nog. Here we go. Close splits. And, ooh. Good thing I noticed, that guy just killed all the mobs I was about to fight. So I'm going to go up here instead, insert, and as you might notice, we're going to start off with a big pull. You know, really spicing it up this time, going from a big pull to gigantic pull to even larger, sizable pull. I think I accidentally killed the thing before it went off. Oh well. 50% though, so that's pretty good. Now, do these give percent? They do not. I didn't think they did, but I wanted to check just to be sure. Okay, so I can rescue these prisoners. I remember this gives a lot. 8%. Yep. About what you'd expect. You tag that mob since that guy was about to kill it. Normally, I like doing a big pull at the entrance, so where I was about to land before I realized that some guy just killed it all. There are more mobs that you can usually nuke down in one sitting. So, in lieu of that, I'm just going to go around and grab all the stuff left behind. Nice. Not too bad. About 1 minute. Got a little bit distracted for a moment there, so it took a bit longer, but overall still very fast. Now, this next one is interesting because there actually are these objects, the unfettered visions, which you can interact with while flying. So I'm going to get started, go over here, and even though I am not a druid, I can still click on this. It gives me 5%, so not as much as a lot of the other ones that we've seen. That one gave me 10% though, so pretty good. But the best way to get percent is definitely these totems. So if you're a druid, I recommend just hitting the totems and then mixing it up every now and then with an unfettered vision. If you are not, then just do what I'm doing here. Run around. If you see an opening, I'm guessing somebody cleared this all out because there's normally mobs in this area. Normally these totems would be guarded, but there aren't, so somebody must have killed them all. We can see things slowly respawning. I'm gonna fight this mob real quick. I'm gonna save this big anima pulse thing. Get the unfettered vision real quick. And I'm gonna round up a few mobs here. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this hasn't been killed. I can do this. Then I can do this pulse. Does a pretty hefty chunk of damage. I actually pulled an Ardenweald. Whoops. Did not want to do that, but it's not a big deal. Not the end of the world. Actually dinged from that, and this should get me the end. Nice. Okay. We're good to go. A little bit over. That one is very, very fast if you're a druid, but still, as we can see, relatively quick for anybody. This is one of the problematic ones, because this one I've actually found to be pretty hard. Now, normally it's hard if you're soloing it, but looks like these guys are clearing out the mobs around these totems for me, which is going to make this actually surprisingly easy. Because these totems are by far the best way to get percents in this region. But if I can just run over and grab them without any interference from the other mobs, then, well, this is not going to be as hard as I'm making it out to be. Once again, I forgot to actually start this one. Add about 15 seconds onto that, so I'll try to remember to do that. Okay, totem. But even if I'm doing this efficiently, I do still think that this is probably the longest one that I've managed to find. Despite the fact that I'm trying to do efficient pulls, and here I'm even going to drop an Ashen Hollow, I still think that it takes a little bit too long. The mobs, as you might notice, don't give as much percent as we're used to from some of the other ones. Especially these possessed chargers. They constantly spawn, and they'll constantly walk into your, like, Ashen Hollows and AoE circles and stuff like that. So you'll get stuck in combat, but then if you actually kill them, they don't really give a whole lot, so it ends up being kind of inefficient. And these Bladed Evokers will spam an AoE Fear, and if you're a prop Helly like me, it's not too bad because I can just interrupt them pretty frequently with Avenger Shield resets. So that isn't an issue, but I would actually say this one is pretty hard for Druids because they don't have reliable ways to constantly stop the AoE Fear from going off. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit longer just so we can get a general idea. And then I'm going to get into position for this one. Okay. So somebody's fighting this. I would say that's about as long as it took. Yeah, about a minute and a half. Close spits and start again. Going to try and round up all of these Anima Stalkers. As always, big pull to start off. This one is, once again, I know I say this a lot, but it is true for a large majority of them, absurdly easy on a druid, because there are these anima seeds, or anima cones, that you can pick up, and then you interact with the little seed over here, which for some reason is bugged and is not actually popping up. Either way, I can collect a bunch of anima cones in the meantime. Hopefully this actually starts working. There we go, Hungry Wild Seed. For some reason it wasn't lighting up initially. Hit that! You need an anima cone to actually activate the Hungry Wild Seed. And there should be another anima cone here, and once again, same bug. There it goes. Hungry Wild Seed sometimes takes a bit to activate. Now, because this guy is pulling all this stuff, I'm just going to tag this in case he manages to kill it quickly, because that would actually give me a nice chunk of percentage. But I'm not really going to help him kill it because it's not something that would really be efficient for me. And it's level 61, so not a whole lot that I could do there regardless. Yeah, okay, so this is really, really hurting my efficiency when I am not able to just pick up and fly like druids can. Gonna round these guys up, kill them. And once they're done, I can grab the anima cone. Actually, I might just finish it. No. Okay, anima cone. We're good to go. If you are a druid, you can complete this entirely by just grabbing those anima cones and slotting them into the Hungry Wild Seeds, and it is very, very, very fast. So I would recommend doing that. Now, interestingly enough, it looks like we are on track to get to 50% for Night Fae as well. So I guess there's just some bugged aspect of the Maldraxxus ones where they don't give the full 10% that they're supposed to. So I guess Blizzard should probably look into that. Because yeah, I definitely did all 5 of them in Maldraxxus. Very odd. Very odd indeed. Okay, so for reasons that would take me way too long to explain, I ended up fucking up something and I had to swap to an alt, but let's just get into this bonus objective. So first, as always, gonna do a big pull. Doesn't change if I'm Demon Hunter or Paladin. Gonna jump over here. This. Unfortunately, somebody cleared out a lot of the mobs that are supposed to be in this location, so I'm gonna have to make do with what I have. Bit rusty on Demon Hunter. It's been a hot minute. I also have absolutely terrible gear on this alt, but you know, gotta make do. Alright. Gonna bounce around, just interact with a lot of this stuff. Evacuate now. Grab this seed. And we're good. So, 1 minute, despite the fact that it ended up being on a crappy character. So we can assume that if I'd gotten this 10% on my Paladin, that I would have been at around 50%, if not exactly. The reason, by the way, that I fucked it up is I talked to this guy, got this world quest, and it put me in a different phase, which I still technically can complete part of this bonus objective while in this phase, but it's way less efficient, so not really good for the purposes of this video. But with that said, let's move on to Revendreth. Alright, so in Revendreth, you're always going to come out here if you use your wormhole generator, which is right next to this bonus objective, but we have a bit of a problem, because as you might notice, the bonus objectives are laid out in this really strange pattern. There's no clear path that we can take here. We're just going to have to accept the fact that there will be a detour, so I'm going to do this one first, obviously, then I'm going to head over here to Ash You Like It, and then I'm going to head down to complete these other ones. So starting off, I will land and do a big pull. Let's get that group in. And last but not least, I can try to just face pull this guy. Didn't manage to get aggro on these for some reason. Let's drop my racial. Taking a lot of damage here. Don't like that. That is not good. Okay, that gave me 67%, so that's pretty good to start off with. Now we're looking for objects that we can interact with. So we have this little Soulbreaker trap. Can run over here, grab another Soulbreaker trap, and another Soulbreaker trap. And once again, there is a final Soulbreaker trap over here. I could probably just kite this mob into it, and boom, we're good to go. Not too long, we're going to head over to As You Like It, because this is one that is quite far off. Now, I will reiterate that it is 100% worth doing these. I would highly recommend it, but, you know, if you really, really don't feel like flying out here, like, I get it, but at the same time, I'll show you a little reason why I think this one especially is worth the detour. Hold up. Interesting, I just noticed this only gave me 7%. Ah. Okay, so Revendreth and Maldraxxus are a bit stingy on the percentage. That's kind of bad. I think Blizzard should probably normalize that out to 10% for every single one. Don't know why it isn't. I kind of had always assumed it was. Alright, so unfortunately somebody has gone through here and cleared out every single mob that I normally kill, so I'm going to start it, but this is going to be a bit slower than I normally get, because I can't do a good pull here. I'm just going to use the Grong thing only. And then I can free those Venthyr over here. So, give a Parasol to this guy. And over here, help this guy out. Alright. Still need to find some way to get a big pull in. I'm not really seeing much. Usually I like getting that entrance area down. I can probably MacGyver something out of these mobs. So, let's see. I think if I, stop here, this should be good. This should give me a decent amount. I think that went off. Hard to tell. I'll grab these two. I see. So, yeah, there's somebody over there killing stuff. That must be the person who cleared out all the mobs. Oh, they're doing the world quest. I didn't realize this was in the same instance. Interesting. Yeah, well, that explains it. Alright, so that's done. Honestly, minute and a half, much better than I expected, and I will show real quick. There is this little treasure over here. Gives an item which starts a quest. Would highly recommend doing this. Ah, I wasn't fast enough. If you're a druid, you can instantly hit travel form and get away, which really helps for that. But otherwise, you're not fast enough. You have to fight this mob, which is a little bit of a time loss, but oh well. And you hand this thing in just a bit north of here. At this little town. So I'm just showing this because if you're doing this bonus objective, it is important that you know about this, and it's so trivial that I probably won't cover it in my leveling guide. But you head up here, turn in the Parasol components, and then one last quest. I briefly mentioned this in the guide that I'm publishing tomorrow. Wanted quest, Summoner Marcellus. Head over there, do that. And then after you're done, so let's fly over, actually, well, we're going to fly over, kill that, go back, hand it in, and then from here, we fly over to the Banewood. So that is the general path that I take when doing that bonus objective. The only reason I'm specifically mentioning it here is because it's kind of weird if you don't do that. This bonus objective ends up being kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the bonus objectives. This basically allows you to clump in some extra experience gains with that bonus objective, and it ends up being, in my opinion, a bit more efficient. So now let's head over to the Banewood, and Banewood. Worth noting, there is a world quest that has a chance to spawn here, which effectively is the exact same... Oop, close splits. Reopen. Okay, perfect. Didn't forget this time. It's effectively the exact same as this bonus objective, and as a result, it's really, really efficient to just have that world quest up, because you're just going to get 2 birds, 1 stone with that. However, it's obviously not guaranteed. Sometimes you just won't get that to spawn. So if I was really doing an efficient speedrun, I would make sure that that thing would be up, but The odds of that happening are kind of like astronomically low, because it would have to be on the same period as the Darkmoon Fair, and then I would have to basically make sure that there were other good world quests up. There's a reason why, as I've pointed out at numerous points within my guide, this just isn't really... close. This just isn't really a reliable way to level. It's efficient, but I can't make a dedicated route for this. I can't say, this is the most efficient Threads of Fate leveling route, because a lot of times, the route is going to be highly dependent on what the world quests that spawn actually are. And that is something which varies from, an hour-to-hour basis. It's not the kind of thing that I can really write a detailed guide on. There's just too many factors that play into it. Let me grab these. Should be enough. Evasive Knights. Yep. I think that should complete it. Perfect. A little over a minute. We take those. Now, worth noting, same thing, I'll point it out again. Over in this area, pick up this quest. Abel's Fate is a really fast quest. It's effectively a wanted quest. I don't recommend doing this one, Hunting Trophies. It may seem like it just directly overlaps with the other one. It does not. It is not that straightforward. So this is effectively a wanted quest because you just go over here, you kill this guy, and then the quest is completed. So it might as well be called Wanted. Pack Mother Soulfang, it gives comparable experience, and it is, like most wanted quests, really efficient. So definitely recommend doing this. Boom, quest is done. And then I can head over here real quick and grab this one. Bounty Beast Control. This one is like a wanted quest in that you just need to kill a set number of mobs, and it is honestly not a whole lot, so I recommend doing this because it's going to be a really easy way to get experience in this area, and since you're already here for the bonus objectives and the wanted quests, you might as well swing by and get it done. So as we can see, Dreadbats do not have that much health, and you only need to kill 6 of them in total. Now, I got unlucky, and that one is bugging out for some odd reason. Haven't actually seen that happen ever before. A little evade bug. But now I can pull this, grab these 2 Fanglings, and we should be set. Yep, quest is done. Head over here. Boom, turn in. Nice chunk of experience. Almost as much as a bonus objective, and it took roughly the same amount of time. Happened to be in the way. And then can I head over here. Boom. Chunk of experience. Worth doing, in my opinion, at least. You can pass it up if you really feel like it. Now we get to Parasites of Reality in the Endmire. So I'm going to close this. Restart. And I'm just going to try to round up as much as possible. Main thing here is you want to be really careful not to pull that big World Eater. That thing will fuck your day up. Do not recommend it. It's an elite mob, and elite mobs are always really annoying to fight. Since I used my cooldowns on the last one, I don't have them all up for this, but we're still good. So you can see here, got to 49%, which honestly, pretty solid starting point. Now, I'm going to fight this one more Devourer Might. I should have pulled that with the large group that I did, but it's honestly not a huge concern. Get Hammer of Wrath off this, and that should... actually didn't hit very hard. Alright. Destroy this. Destroy this. And... can kill these and finish it off. If you're a druid, you can just interact with that and immediately fly off, and you can interact with these mired souls to complete it even faster than I'm doing right here. But unfortunately, I'm not a druid, so I don't get to do fancy druid things. Such is life. Alright, minute and a half I think is a pretty standard time for non-druids, so I'll take it. And remember, when I started this, I was only level 52. So I think I was like 52 and like a little bit over. But doing all of these bonus objectives, I've managed to get about, it's going to be roughly 2 1/3 levels or so just by doing that, and like 1 or 2 extra things. So bonus objectives on their own are really nice, but the most important thing is that it gets you, in most cases, nearly halfway towards the end of your campaign. With that being said, let's close splits, start again, and round up as many mobs as possible in this final bonus objective. Just going to do a little lap around here. Ah, some of them leashed because I went a little bit too far. Kind of expected that to happen, but such is life. Actually, shouldn't have... Almost fucked that up. Almost didn't get my racial off, but worked out. I'm gonna use the Grong thing here just to quickly nuke this mob down. Now, it is worth noting that this bonus objective shares a lot of the same stuff with the Halls of Atonement unlock questline. So, if you are planning to get the Halls of Atonement quest, which I showcased in a video yesterday, link will be in the description, then I highly recommend just skipping this for now, and then whenever you decide to do the Halls of Atonement quest, just go over here, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But if you're not doing that, then yeah, sure, you can do this the way that I'm approaching it, which is just murdering a lot of stuff, as per usual. This one, there isn't as many things to click on, generally speaking, so I like to approach it just with the traditional murder strategy. Good thing is, Ashen Hollow absolutely slaps, so you can just throw this down and not worry about dying at all as the prop alley. I fucking love it. It's brilliant. And there we go. So yeah, if you are a druid, there are a lot of objects scattered around this graveyard that you can click on, but the problem is it's really hard to do it because there are so many mobs, so as a paladin or any other class, I'd recommend just rounding them up, murdering them, and then anything that you can see in your general area, go ahead and grab. But that's it for every bonus objective, so I hope people found this helpful. I know a lot of people have asked me what the fastest way to complete bonus objectives are, and I've tried to give general strategies, but I've never done a complete walkthrough for every single one. Technically speaking, you could find this information if you dug through the entirety of my speedrun, but I feel like this is a nice condensed version where you can get all of the information in one short sitting. And as mentioned before, my leveling guide will be out tomorrow. I'm almost done with it, no more delays, so that will be in the description when it finally goes live, and I hope you check back in to watch that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to throw it a like, and if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.